Good day, everyone. We are here to give a presentation about the Lesson 8 titled Embracing New Means of Communication. Before all this digital stuff, people are connected in more direct ways, meaning we talk face to face, wrote letters, and even visited each other. News and information spread through newspapers, radio, and television. And communities were often more local, meaning that people relied on gatherings and events just to stay connected. But in this era, we embrace a new means of communication, meaning we embrace a new ways we talk and share because of the advancement of technology like social media platforms and the internet. This also changed how we connect with each other and how our society works today. This topic also delves on the challenges and opportunities presented by these new mediums or new ways of communication, from fostering global connectivity, meaning we connect globally, to navigating the complexities of digital literacy and information dissemination. When we say digital literacy, it is the ability of a user to understand and use digital technologies effectively and responsibly. Okay, let's talk about social media. For you, what is social media? Maybe you can say that it is how you socialize online. So, to simply put, social media is how we connect online. Investopedia defines it as a digital communication where we can socialize, share our information, and post our own stuff. For example, Facebook. Facebook is a social media platform where you can send or socialize with other people by using reels or posting your own stuff and even vlogs. So it's a way people socialize these days where they can share information to their viewers. Social media is not only for socializing and sharing information these days, but it can also be a place where you can earn money. Now, let's move on to the history and evolution of social media and electronic communication. In the early foundations, telegraph and Morse code was used for electronic communication over long distances according to EBSCO 2023. As I have said earlier, people are connected in more direct ways, meaning if you want to send a message, someone had to physically carry it. But with the invention of telegraph and Morse code, it was the first time communication wasn't tied to physically moving something around. According to Shipley 2013, the invention of telegraph and Morse code was a huge deal for news and businesses. Imagine trying to run a business when it takes days or weeks to get important updates. The telegraph sped things up dramatically so news could spread quicker and businesses could make decisions faster. So in the picture, that is the telegraph and Morse code in the mid-19th century. Then came the telephone, which was invented by Alexander Graham Bell. According to Brown 2024, it enabled real-time voice communication over distances. So the difference between telegraph and Morse code is like the telegraph was like sending messages in code, while the telephone let people actually talk to each other in real time even if they were far apart. So it revolutionized interpersonal communication, making real-time voice interaction possible, according to Gutierrez 2024. And when we say interpersonal, it is the process of exchanging information between two or more people through verbal or non-verbal cues. So, telephone made staying in touch and building relationship much easier no matter the distance. So, the picture depicts the early electronic communication, which is the telephone. So, the next big step was computers and how they connect. According to the Online Library Learning Center, the development of computers and early networking technologies laid the groundwork for digital communication. We all know what is computer and how to operate it, but we don't know what are these early networking technologies. So when we say early networks, we are referring to the first ways computers were connected to each other. Think of it like the very first road built for cars. Today, we use computers for gaming, entertainment, and academics. But before, it was solely used for research and military purposes, which demonstrated the potential for electronic data exchange. So do you know what is the picture? This was the ENIAC, which stands for Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, and it is considered the world's first general-purpose electronic digital computer, and it was developed during World War II. So it was developed to solve complex mathematical problems. Following the early computer networks, we have the ARPANET, or the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network, which facilitated the exchange of information between computers, laying the foundation for future online communication according to Lehner et al. 1997. So, think of it as a moving from local roads to a national highway system for computers, allowing universities and research institutions across the U.S. to communicate and share data efficiently. So, this capability to easily exchange information electronically was pivotal as the technologies and protocols developed for ARPANET become the foundation for the Internet we use today. So the ARPANET was the foundation of the Internet we use today. So furthermore, ARPANET directly fostered the invention of email and other early forms of electronic communication, which representing a crucial leap forward in digital communication and collaboration across distances. Now we have the dawn of digital communication. Next is bulletin board system. According to the article of ETHW in 2013, in the 1970s and 1980s, BBS allows users to connect via dial-up modems, exchange messages, and share files. So a BBS is a computer system that allows users to connect via phone lines to exchange messages, download files, and participate in discussions. So it essentially served as an early form of online community and a precursor to modern internet. So do you know the app Reddit? Reddit can be considered as a modern-day bulletin board system where users can post and discuss various topics. So the picture is an example of the bulletin board system, or the BBS. Following ARPANET, Usenet emerged as a widespread online discussion system organized into the thematic group called newsgroups, according to Britannica 2025. So these newsgroups was massive, which is a global bulletin board spread across numerous computers. So users could join newsgroups dedicated to specific topics, read messages posted by others, and contribute their own thoughts or questions. So essentially, Usenet provided a way for people with shared interests to connect, predating the development and widespread use of the World Wide Web as we know today. So this is an example of the Usenet. Following Usenet came email, a communication method most of us are familiar with. So email revolutionized how people communicated both personally and professionally. It made sending written messages much faster and more convenient for everything from casual chats to business dealings. So according to Slack 2021, email became a widely used form of electronic communication, transforming personal and professional correspondence. It enabled the rapid exchange of written messages regardless of geographical distance. In the fields like technical writing, email is especially important for efficient communication, teamwork, and sharing technical documents. Before the social media we know today, platforms like 6degrees.com, which was launched in 1997, and classmates.com, which was founded in 1995, emerged. 6degrees.com let people create profiles, list their friends, and connect with others online, even if those people weren't on this site. And classmates.com focused on helping people reconnect with former schoolmates. So both of these early sites allowed users to build profiles and connect with people they knew. So these platforms lay the foundation for modern social networking sites. So then we have the social media boom in 2000. In 2000, social media really took off with platforms like MySpace, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. So these sites made it possible for people to connect, share things, and participate in online communities. And this growth was also fueled by the rise of smartphones and mobile internet. As stated by Read 2025, it enabled users to connect, share content, and engage in online communities, which greatly accelerated the usage of social media. After this long history, we now see the full impact of the internet and the social media. As highlighted by Kuznetsov 2023, the widespread adaptation of smartphone and mobile internet access transformed social media usage. Mobile apps enabled users to stay connected and engage with social platforms on the go. Finally, social media has become integrated into many parts of our online lives, including news, entertainment, and commerce. The next subtopic will be presented by Mr. Morris.
Next is why we use social media. Well, in our perspective, we all know why we use social media. But in general, there are reasons why we use social media, such as communication and connectivity. Social media helps people to stay in touch with peers and families, no matter where they are. For example, is when a student is studying abroad, he or she can use Messenger to stay connected with his or her family. Next reason is education and learning. Many educational institutions and professionals share free learnings. For example, is a student can watch YouTube videos about their lesson to reinforce their learnings. The next reason is news and awareness. Social media provides real-time updates on current events, social issues, and government announcement. Example is when during a typhoon, people can use social media to get weather updates and emergency informations. The next reason is entertainment and creativity. There are platforms that allows users to create and share music, videos, and artworks, such as TikToks, where they can showcase their dancing skills, singings, or comedy skits, reaching a wider audience. The last reason is business and career opportunities. Social media is a great tool for networking, job searching, and promoting businesses. Example is David selling handmade crafts. He can use Facebook Marketplace or TikTok Shop to attract his customers online. Those are the general reasons why we use social media. Now let's go on to the benefits of social media for technical communication. Number one is rapid dissemination of information and fostering direct engagement with users. Well, social media allows technical communicators to quickly share update, announcement, or instruction even in a wide audience. Number two is it allows quick updates, issue resolution, and the creation of users, communities, facilitating immediate feedback and support. Because when users face issues, they can post questions or comments on a company's social media page. Number three is visual content like tutorials and demos can be easily shared, improving comprehensions. Like YouTube videos or Facebook that allows sharing of image and videos that is helpful for technical content. Last benefit is the social platforms provide valuable insight into users' needs and sentiment through real-time analytics, enabling technical communication to tailor content and address concerns efficiently. The next topic is how to get the most out of social media. First way is to use it for learning and growth. because social media can be a powerful educational tool if you use it wisely, like following pages that shares knowledge or tips related to your interests. Next is engage in meaningful conversation. Instead of just scrolling or liking posts, we can participate in thoughtful discussions that help us build connection and gain different perspectives. Third is build a positive online presence. That's why they say think before you post because your online presence reflects who you are personally. Next, limit screen time and avoid distraction because when we use social media too much, it can lead to distraction. Verify information before sharing. We should always check the source of what we are sharing to avoid spreading of fake news. Last is support local business and advocacies. We can use our platforms to uplift our community by sharing posts about local stores or events. Next is tips on how to maximize the effectiveness of social media. Our goal is to define clear objectives. Before posting, know what you want to achieve because clear goals help you plan better content. Next tip is know your target audience. You should understand who you're talking to, like what are their interests or needs because tailoring content to your audience make it more relevant and engaging. Next is your content should be high quality with varied posts because a well-designed post keeps your audience interested and encourage more interaction. Your consistency should be regular posting schedule. That helps your that helps keep your audience engaged and shows you're active. Next tip is use relevant tags or hashtags. It is to increase reach or discoverability of your content. Next tip is track your performance. This helps you to know what needs to be improved. Next is you should adapt. Next tip is you should adapt. You should be stay up to date with trends to keep your contents fresh and relatable. Next is be genuine because people connect better with honest and real content. Last tip is to refine based on data to improve the result of your content.
Social media has become an essential part of our daily lives. Whether we use it for communication, entertainment, business, or education, it plays a significant role shaping our world. But did you know that social media can be classified into different types based on its purpose and functionality? In this report, we will explore the various classification of social media. We have 5 types of classification of social media. First is the social networking site. Second, image-based site. Third, discussion forums. Fourth, blogging. Fifth, video sharing and streaming platforms. First, social networking site. These platforms are designed for connecting people, allowing users to create profile, interact, and build networks. These platforms accommodate the different types of content formats, from text to photos, videos, and other creative form of content. They are considered the center of communication and a jack of all trades. An example of social networking site is Facebook, where it became one of the largest social media platforms where people share updates, join group, and interact with friends. Image-based sites. These platforms have gained more prominence in recent times. Content like infographic, illustration, and image captures the attention of users more. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and using this can have lots of positive effects. You can also use Pictures to tell personal stories, inspire, and engage with your audience. Example of these are Pinterest and Instagram, which are designed to amplify and sharing of image. Third, the discussion forums. This platform encourage people to answer each other question and share ideas, solicit advice, and disseminate news. Many of these social media sites focus on posting questions to solicit the best answer. Reddit is one of the known examples of this platform. Fourth, blogging. This social media network gives you a place to create and publish your thoughts on your job, current event, hobbies, and more. A great example of this is a famous Medium, wherein insight for its depth articles, often written by experts and thought leaders. Fifth is the video sharing and streaming platform. These platforms allow users to upload, share, and stream videos of entertainment, education, and business purposes. We can't deny the fact there are the platforms that are mostly used by the society nowadays. People tend to enjoy the entertainment that these platforms give. TikTok and YouTube is the best example. YouTube is the largest video sharing platform used for tutorials, vlogs, music, and live streaming, while TikTok is a short form of video that has taken over social media with trends, challenge, and viral content. Social media is more than just a place for entertainment because it shapes our world in real time, whether through social networking site, image-based site, video sharing and streaming, discussion forums, or blogging. Each type of platform serves unique rule how we interact with information and each other. Content worth sharing. Content that people find valuable and are compelled to share typically falls into a few key categories. First is educational and informative content, how-to guide and tutorials, practical advice that solve problems, data-driven insight and research, content backed by credible sources, industry news and trends, keeping people up to date. Listicles, easily digestible information in a structured format. Second, entertaining content, humorous videos and memes, content that elicit laughter, engaging stories, narrative that capture attention, visually appealing content, stunning image and videos, interactive content, quizzes, polls, and games. 3 is the inspirational, emotional content. Heartwarming stories, content that evokes positive emotion, motivational quotes and message, content that inspire action, content that align with values, content that reasonable with people's belief, personal stories of overcoming challenges, relatable and inspiring interviews, narrative. Fourth, relevant and timely content, trending topics and hashtag, content that topics into a current conversation, news jacking, content that relates to breaking news. So, seasonal content, content that aligns with holidays or events. Key factors that make content shareable. To maximize content sharing and audience reach, creators should focus on these qualities. Relevance, it resonates with the audience interest. Emotional appeal, it invokes a strong feelings. Visual appeal, it eye-catching and engaging. Usefulness, it provides valuable information. Authenticity, it feels genuine and relatable.
So I'm here to discuss the app and social networking sites. So first, application or apps. An app is a type of software designed to perform a specific task on digital devices such as computers, smartphones, and tablets. Apps can be used for communication, productivity, entertainment, and business proposal. So we will go to the types of the application. Number one is the desktop application. A desktop application is a software program that runs locally on a computer's operating systems rather than being accessed through a web browser, and it designed for use on desktops or laptops and typically provide a graphical use interface. For the examples is a Microsoft Word for word processing, Adobe Photoshop for image editing, and AutoCAD for design and drafting. So for the number two, web application. A web application is a software program that runs on a web server and is accessed through a web browser over the internet or an intranet. Unlike desktop application, web application do not need to be installed on your computer. It just visit a URL to use them. For the example is the Gmail for email communication, and Google Docs for creating and editing documents, Facebook for social networking, and online banking portals for financial transactions. And for the number three, mobile application. A mobile application is a software program designed to run on a smartphones or tablets. Typically downloaded from the app stores like Google Play Stores for Android or Apple App Stores for iOS. And for the example is the WhatsApp, messaging and voice video call, Instagram, social media and photo sharing, Google Maps for navigation and GPS, and Spotify for music streaming. And for the number four, the enterprise application. An enterprise application is a large-scale software system designed to operate in a business or organizational environment. These applications support complex business processes, help manage operations, and often integrate with other systems across the organization. And the examples is the ERP or Enterprise Resource Planning, like SAP or Oracle ERP for finance, HR and supply chain, and HRM or human resources management, like Workday for management employees, and BI stands for business intelligence tools like Power BI or Tableau for data analytics. So let's go for the advantage of application or app. The advantage is the convenient. App provide easily access to services, increases productivity. App help users complete tasks faster. Connectivity, communication app connect people globally. And for the customization, so let's go for the disadvantages. Privacy concerns. Some apps collect use data without consent. Storage app or storage space. App consume device memory. Security risk. Some apps contain malware. And for the last, internal dependency. Web-based app required an internet connection. So let's go for the social networking site, or for short SNS. Social networking site are online platforms that enable users to interact, communicate, and share content with others. This platform can be used for personal connection, professional networking, and entertainment. And let's go for the types of social networking site. The number one is the general social networking or general social networks. A general social networks is a type of online platform designed to connect people, allowing them to create profiles, share contents like posts, photos, and videos, communicating with each other and build social relationship. And for the examples is like the Facebook, the most well-known general purpose social networks, and Instagram, focus on photo and video sharing, Twitter or X, short post, tweets, trending topics and news, and for the last is Snapchat, real-time photo and video sharing with friends. And for the number two is professional network. Professional networks are online platforms specifically designed to help people build and maintain businesses or career-related connections. Unlike general social network, they focus on professional interactions, job opportunity, skill development, and industry discussion. And for the example of it is the LinkedIn, the most popular professional in networking platform. Xing, common in German-speaking countries for business networking. GitHub, while not a traditional social network, it widely used by developers to showcase and collaborate on code. And for the number three, the media sharing networks. Media sharing networks are social platforms designed specifically for uploading, sharing, and discovering multimedia content, such as photos, videos, audio, or live streams. This network focus on more content than on personal updates or relationship. For the examples is the YouTube for uploading and watching videos, Instagram for sharing photos and short videos, also stories and reels, TikTok for short form video sharing and discovery, Pinterest for sharing and discovery image, usually linked to idea or product, and Flickr for high quality photography sharing. And last type of social networking site is the discussion forums. The discussion forums are online platforms where users can post messages, ask questions, and engage in conversations around specific topics or interests. They are organized into categories or threads, allowing structured topic-focused decisions. So the example of decision forum is the Reddit, a large network of topic-based communities, and the Quora, Q&A platforms where users ask and answer questions, and Stack Overflow for programming and technical questions. And the last is the Steam Community Forum, focused on gaming discussions. Number 5, microblogging platforms. Microblogging platforms are social media service that allow users to share short, frequent updates, usually text-based, but often including image, link, or videos, Posts are typically brief and quick to create, making them ideal for real-time updates, opinions, and conversations. So the example of this is the Twitter and the X, the most well-known microblogging platforms, and the Tumblr, common microblogging with multimedia and creative content, and the Threads, a newer text-focused platform for Meta connected to Instagram. So let's go for the last. Number 6, interest-based network. The interest-based network are online platforms that connect users based on sharing hobbies, passions, or topic of interest. Rather than personal connections, this network allow people to come together around specific activities, subjects, or lifestyles, offering tailored content and communities. For the examples of this is the Goodreads, a community for book lovers to discuss review and show reading list. For the Strava, a social network for athletes, especially cyclists and runners. And for the Dribbble, a community for designers to share their works and find inspirations. And last, Ravelry, a community to knitters and crocheters to share projects and patterns. So for the last type of social networking site is the number 7, dating network. The dating network are online platforms designed to help individual meets and connect with other or romantic relationship or casual dating. This network facilitates interaction between people looking for companionship, love, or something just friendship. The examples of this is the Tinder, the popular for casual dating with a swipe-based system, and the Bumble, women initiate to conversation in heterosexual matches, and Match.com, aim to those seeking long-term relationship. And last is the OkCupid, offers in-depth questionnaires to match people based on compatibility. So let's go for the image sharing. So what is image sharing? Image sharing refers to the process of uploading, storing, and distributing digital images through websites, mobile apps, and cloud storage services. Users can share image publicly or privately, and many platforms provide features like editing, tagging, or organizing image into albums or collections. So the type of image sharing platforms is the number 1, the social media based image sharing. These platforms allow users to upload, edit, and share image while interacting with each other through likes, comments, and shares. For the example is the Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and the Pinterest. So the number 2 is the dedicated image hosting services websites. The websites that is specialized in storing and organizing image for easy access and sharing. These services often support high resolution images and provide link for embedding images on other websites. For example is the Fakear, Imgur, Google Photos, and 500px. And for the number 3, cloud-based image sharing. This platform offer cloud storage for image and allow users to share device via link or direct access permissions. And the examples of this is the Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, and iCloud. And for the number 4, creative and professional image sharing. This platform designed for artists, designers, and photographers to showcase their work, network with other creatives, and receive feedbacks. For example of this is the Behance, DeviantArt, Dribbles, and also the 500px. And for the number 5, the last type of image sharing, private and encrypted image sharing. These types, some service provide secure and encrypted image sharing options to protect user privacy, often used for sensitive content or confidential business materials. The example of this is the Signal or encrypted image sharing in chats, Proton Drive, secure cloud storage. So that's all.
So let's proceed to mobile device as one's total life package. So we have 3 key roles of mobile devices. First one is the entertainment source, like streaming services, mobile games, and ebooks that provides endless entertainment options. Like for example, some influencers do make video game streams to earn money. Next one, we have health and fitness tracking. Modern devices monitor heart rates, track steps, and offer meditation app to support mental well-being. Like for example, in hospitals, faster diagnosis and treatment. With apps for viewing all medical image, lab results, and diagnostic tools, mobile devices help speed up diagnosis and treatment planning. So the last one, we have the financial management. Digital wallets, online banking, and budgeting apps simplify financial tasks. Like for example, you can easily transfer money through GCash by just using your phone. You have the social media and technical documentation. So how social media enhances technical documentation? So in community support, platform like Reddit, Stack Overflow, and Discord allows users to ask questions, provide solution, and contribute to the collaborative knowledge bases. So, how social media enhances technical documentation? By sharing information and news, asking and answering questions in these platforms, joining discussions on specific interests. Next one, we have the visual learning. So in visual learning, YouTube, tutorials, infographics, and interactive videos simplify complex technical concepts. So faster understanding. So nowadays we have those elementary students that is now good in speaking English than their native language because of watching YouTube tutorials that has an English subtitles. So faster understanding, visual can quickly convey complex ideas. So according to Barry 2025, social media platforms enables technical writers to communicate complex ideas to diverse audience in a relatable and accessible manner. Whether sharing quick tips, promoting detailed document, or engaging with the users' communities, social media helps writers bridge the gap between technical information and end users. So, social media helps technical writers to share complex ideas in easy to understand ways, making information more relatable and accessible to broad audience. Writers can use social media to give quick tips, share in-depth documents, or interact with users. So for example, a technical writer might tweet a helpful tip on how to use a new feature in a software app. Why do we need to understand their unique features and functionalities? So, understanding each platform's unique feature helps you to craft target content, boost engagement, build relevant connections, and strengthen your professional presence. So, in microblogging platform, it is a social media service that allows users to post short, frequent updates, usually text, link, image, or videos. These posts are typically limited in length, like in Twitter limit, and are used for quick sharing, engagement, and real-time communication. So in professional networking platform, it is a digital space designed to help individuals build and maintain work-related connections, share expertise, find job opportunities, and establish a professional identity like LinkedIn. So microblogging platform like X, formerly Twitter, focus on sharing short, quick updates with a broader audience. So while professional networking platform like LinkedIn are primarily used for building professional relationship and finding job opportunities. When using this platform for technical writing, knowing their features help navigate content limits, balance tone, stay relevant, and build your brand effectively.
In this topic, we will tackle the best and the worst of the social media. In today's digital world, social media and electronic communication have completely transformed the way we live, work, and connect with others. From how we stay in touch with loved ones to how we consume new or build careers, the shift has been massive. But is this transformation truly for the better? Or are we paying a hidden price? Let's move on to the bright side, or the best. Staying connected anytime, anywhere. One of the most powerful benefits of social media is its ability to keep us connected regardless of time zones or geography. Whether it's chatting with family, collaborating with colleagues remotely, or simply sharing a moment online, staying in touch has never been easier. Endless access to information. Social media platforms are rich sources of knowledge, from quick tutorials to breaking news and thought-provoking discussions. They've opened endless opportunities for self-education and awareness right at our fingertips. Opportunities for business and creativity. For entrepreneurs, artists, and creators, social media is a game changer. It levels the playing field, offering a platform to reach global audiences, promote products, and grow brands, often with minimal resources. Finding support and community. Whether you're dealing with a rare health condition, navigating parenthood, or exploring a nice interest, there's likely a community online that understands you. These support networks can be empowering and comforting, especially when real-life connections are hard to find. Of course, for entertainment and fun. Let's face it, social media can be a lot of fun, from viral trends and memes to live stream concerts and short videos. It provides a steady stream of entertainment that brightens our daily lives. The flip side, or the worst side. Privacy and security risk. With so much of our lives online, personal data is more vulnerable than ever. From identity theft to data breaches, the risks to our privacy are real and growing. Misinformation and fake news. The speed at which information spreads on social media is both a blessing and a curse. Unfortunately, false or misleading content often goes viral faster than facts, leading to confusion, division, and sometimes even danger. Cyberbullying and online negativity. The anonymity anonymity of the internet can bring out the worst in people. Many users, especially teens, face harassment, bullying, or toxic criticism online, which can have devastating effects on mental health. Mental health struggles, constant comparison, pressure to appear perfect, and fear missing out have all been linked to increased anxiety, depression, and loneliness, particularly among young people. Less face-to-face interaction. While we are more connected than ever, the depth of real-life human connection is at risk. Social media often replaces genuine face-to-face interaction, weakening interpersonal relationship and social skills. Let's move on to the second slide. The question is, how to stay secure in a digital world. Number 1, use a strong password. Seriously, stop using password 123. Let's be honest, most of us have been guilty of reusing the same password or picking something easy to remember like our birthday or page name. But weak passwords are like leaving the front door of your digital life wide open. Use a unique strong password for every account. Think long combination of letters, numbers, and symbols. Better yet, use a password manager. These tools create and store complex passwords so you don't have to remember them all. Or enable two-factor authentication. Wherever possible, this adds an extra step to confirm it's really you. Think of it as adding a default to your digital door. Strong password make it much harder for hackers to break into your account even if they somehow get your username. Second, beware of scams and phishing attempts. Ever receive an email that looked legit but something felt off? Maybe it said your bank account was locked or that you won a gift card. That's likely a phishing scam. Strange emails or message asking for personal information are urging you to click a link immediately. Spelling mistakes, odd sender addresses, or fake logos in what seem like official emails. Requests for money, password, or private details, especially if they pressure you to act fast. Don't click, avoid clicking on suspicious links or attachments. Double check the sender's email and go directly to the official website instead of following links. When in doubt, contact the organization directly using contact information from their verified website. Falling for a scam can lead to your personal information being stolen or worse, your identity or finances compromised. Keep your devices and apps updated. Yes, those annoying reminders matter. We've all been tempted to hit remind me later. When our phones or laptop ask to update, it feels like a hassle, but those updates are more than just bug fixes. They're often patching up vulnerabilities that hackers are waiting to exploit. Software updates close security gaps that attackers can use to break into your system. Delaying updates leaves you exposed, especially if you're using older versions of apps or operating system. You can do is turn on automatic updates so you don't have to think about it. Regularly check for updates on devices that don't update automatically, like smartphone, smart home gadgets, or routers. Think of updates as locking the windows after you've shut the door. They are your first defense against silent cyber threats. 4. Avoid using public Wi-Fi for anything sensitive. Free Wi-Fi is everywhere, cafes, airports, and libraries. It's super convenient but also risky. These networks are usually unprotected, which means others can easily eavesdrop on your activity. The risks include hackers snooping on what you're doing, stolen login credentials, and sensitive data like banking information. You can do is avoid accessing bank accounts, private emails, or work data while on a public networks. If you absolutely need to, use a VPN or virtual private network. It encrypts your connection and helps protect your data from prying eyes. Using public Wi-Fi without protection is like shouting your password in crowded room. You never know who's listening. Think before you post online. It might seem harmless to share a photo of your boarding pass or tell everyone about your vacation plans. But this kind of information can actually make you target for cyber criminals. For example, if someone knows you're out of town, your home could become vulnerable. Or, if you share too many personal details, hackers might use them to guess your password or answer your security questions. A good rule of thumb: if you wouldn't share it with a stranger on the street, think twice before posting it online. Stay informed and help others. Technology and cyber threats are constantly changing. That means we kept you safe last year might not be enough today. Make it a habit to keep up with the latest news on digital safety, whether it's through articles, online communities, or even trusted YouTube channels. And don't keep that knowledge to yourself. Share tips with your family and friends. You never know who might avoid a scam just because you gave them a heads up. Report suspicious activities. If you ever become across a scam, suspicious message, or anything that feels off, report it, whether it's a phishing email, a fake profile, or an odd link someone sent you, saying something could save someone else from falling into the trap. Reporting isn't just about protecting yourself, it's about looking out for your community online.
Let's move on to cybercrime. What is cybercrime? Cybercrime is the use of a computer as an instrument to further illegal ends, such as committing fraud, trafficking in child pornography and intellectual property, stealing identities, or violating privacy. Cybercrime, especially through the internet, has grown in importance as a computer has become central to commerce, entertainment, and government. Cybercrime is a growing concern, or a crime that is made digitally. It can be through your phone, your mobile, your gadgets, the networks, and the internet. Some of us here already experienced to be a victim of cybercrime, and maybe some of us here already committed a cybercrime. So let's move on to cybercrime cases, which is according to Statista, in 2024, about 14.1 million cyber threats via web browsers were detected and foiled in the Philippines, reflecting a significant decline from the previous year's total of roughly 39.4 million threats. The number of web threats detected and blocked in the Philippines nearly doubled between 2019 and 2020. In just a year, can you imagine how many lives were destroyed? How many lives were annihilated? How much money is lost because of monetary theft? How many reputations were damaged and how many lives were lost? Yes, how many lives were lost? One example here is the circulating rumor about the Kalinga page, which we have this teenager who was posted in this page, and this post gave her an emotional distress, which pushed her to kill herself. And another example of this are those who were in a relationship who does the nasty things which their partners uses it as a threat for them to have more or to get what they want. And also there are instances where they sell these explicit videos or images for money. Another example of cybercrime cases is the 6 Chinese arrested in Pampanga over alleged scams. The NBI planned to arrest one of them but not found in the premises during the operation, but instead found the 6 Chinese cybercrime dealers with found scene of Roman scam scripts, messaging application with fictitious accounts, bank accounts, and fraudulent cryptocurrency investment platforms. These 6 Chinese were arrested for violating the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 and Anti-Financial Account Scamming Act. Cybercrime technology. First, we have the malware. This includes viruses, worms, trojans, and ransomware designed to infiltrate and damage computer systems, steal data, or disrupt operation. It is more likely of hacking. Next is phishing. This involves deceptive emails, messages, or websites that trick individuals into revealing sensitive information like passwords or credit card details. Example of phishing are those emails or links that are sent to us where when it comes to an end, though we open or click these links, it leads us to fake websites. Number 3, botnets. Networks of infected computers controlled by criminals, used for various malicious purposes such as distributed denial of service attacks, spam distribution, or data theft. It is more likely about phishing, but in a wider audience. Hacking tools, software and techniques used to gain unauthorized access to computer systems or networks. Social engineering, manipulating individuals into divulging confidential information or performing actions that compromise security. The best example of this is pretending to be someone's identity to impersonate legitimate organizations. Dark web technologies. Anonymity networks like Tor and cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin facilitate illegal activities, such as the sale of stolen data, drugs, or weapons. So it is an illegal marketplace where they perform illegal transactions. AI and cybercrime. Cybercriminals are increasingly using AI to automate attacks, create sophisticated phishing campaigns, and evade detection. So example of this is the mimicking of someone's voice to instruct a person to do a specific action. Trends in cybercrime technology. Cybercrime as a service. Criminals can now purchase or rent malware, hacking tools, and other services on the dark web, lowering the barrier to entry. These are the cybercriminals who make money from other cybercriminals. Next, increased sophistication. Cyber attacks are becoming more sophisticated, using advanced techniques to evade detection and cause greater damage. Targeting of mobile devices. With increasing reliance on mobile devices, cybercriminals are targeting smartphones and tablets with malware and phishing attacks. IoT vulnerabilities. The growing number of the Internet of Things devices creates new vulnerabilities that cybercriminals can exploit.
So let's move on to the next topic, which is cyberspace. Cyberspace refers to the virtual environment created by interconnected computer networks, especially the Internet. It is where the digital communication, data exchange, online activities, and virtual interactions take place, such as browsing websites, sending emails, using social media, and playing online games. In today's digital world, staying safe online is more important than ever. So, here are some of the practical tips to enhance your online security. So, the first is securing your Wi-Fi. A secured Wi-Fi networks protects your data from hackers and unauthorized users. Also, always remember that use a strong, complex passwords and enable the highest level of encryption available. Regularly update your router's firmware to fix security vulnerabilities. And never leave your Wi-Fi network open to the public. The second is the social media awareness. Social media platforms are great for connecting with others but can expose you to privacy risks if not used carefully. So be cautious about sharing personal details such as your locations, school, or daily routines. Set your account settings to private and only accept friend requests from people you know. Moreover, avoid posting sensitive information that could be misused. The next is online shopping safety. When shopping online, always make sure that the website is secure. It should begin with HTTPS and have a padlock icon. Use credit cards instead of debit cards, as credit cards offer a better protection against fraud. Also, never shop while you are connected to the public Wi-Fi networks because they are often unsecured and could expose your personal information to cyber criminals. Next is report cyberbullying and harassment. If you experience or witness cyberbullying or online harassment, act immediately. Save evidence like screenshots or your messages. Use the platform's reporting tools to alert moderators. Also, block the harasser to prevent further contact and if necessary, report the incident to the trusted adults, teachers, or law enforcement. Next is understanding cookies and tracking. Cookies are small files that websites place on your device to track your browsing activity. So, while they can improve your user experience, they can also collect a lot of personal information. Always review cookies policies regularly and clear your browser's cookies. Moreover, consider using privacy tools like ad blockers to control tracking. The next one is be careful of downloads. Downloading files or apps from unknown or untrustworthy sources can infect your devices with viruses or malware. Only download from official websites or app stores. And before opening any downloaded file, scan it with updated antivirus software. Be aware of email attachments or pop-up from download offers from unfamiliar sources. The last step is protecting your online identity. Your online identity includes everything from your usernames and passwords to personal photos and financial information. Protect it by creating a strong, unique passwords for each account. Being alert for phishing scams that try to steal your information, and always think before clicking suspicious links or giving out personal information. In conclusion, by following these practices, you can significantly reduce your risks online and enjoy a safer and more secure digital experience. Staying informed and cautious is key to protecting yourself in cyberspace. We also have here some common internet problems and their corresponding solutions. First is slow network. If you are experiencing a slow internet connection, try restarting your router or modem. Check if there is a network congestion, especially if many devices are connected. Second is weak Wi-Fi signal. In order to improve your signal, move closer to the router. Repositioning the router to a central location can enhance a coverage. And also, avoid interference from other devices and limit the numbers of the devices connected. You can also change the Wi-Fi channel or frequency. And if the problem continues, upgrading your plan might be necessary. Next is physical connectivity issues. These issues can often be solved by checking cables and connections. Restart your networking devices and check for broken or bent pins. Inspect the ports and make sure that the router and modem are properly placed. If needed, reset your network settings. Next is the excessive CPU usage. This can affect your internet performance, so close background programs and check for malware or viruses. Restart your computer and keep your drivers and software up to date. Also, limit browser extensions and open tabs. Lastly, exhausted IP addresses. The solution for this problem is by restarting the router to refresh IP location, reduce the number of connected devices, and use static IPs for important devices to avoid conflicts. Shortening the DHCP list time can help. You may also release and renew the IP address, upgrade your network infrastructure, or contact your ISP for assistance. In conclusion, understanding these common problems and their solutions can help us maintain a stable and reliable internet connection.
In a nutshell, embracing new means of communication is how we explore the dynamic landscape, examining how digital platforms, social media, and evolving technologies are reshaping human interaction, societal structures, and the very fabric of communication itself. We tackled social media and its history, benefits, maximizing the effectiveness, and classifications. We also discussed the content that is worth sharing and the key factors that make it shareable. We also discussed apps and social networking sites, where we discussed the various types, disadvantages, and advantages of apps and social networking sites. Also, we discussed image sharing and its various platforms, mobile devices as one's total life package, and social media and technical documentation, and the best and worst of both social media and electronic communication. We also learned that cyberspace is very dangerous, as we should always stay secure in the digital world, knowing that there are a lot of cybercrime cases and cybercrime technologies. So always be safe by following the discussed tips on how to be safe in cyberspace and knowing the common internet problems and their solutions. More importantly, we tackle how social media is used in technical writing, aiding in fast information dissemination, and how you can use these social media platforms and how can you use them in technical writing challenges and opportunities.